Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by Coach Holt, as I am each and every Friday. Hey, it's a day game after the night game for Coach Holt because it was $1 beer night at One Oak in Tulsa last night, right? Did we partake?
Oh, how could you not? Get over to the brother-in-law, Mark Kelly, and my beautiful wife, Melissa, over there. And then I got a Drillers hat. This is my beautiful niece, Emma May Kelly.
Oh, that's a Drillers hat.
Drillers cat. That's a Drillers cat, man.
Nice.
She dealt that to me, so I was all sporting it. But, yeah, it was a beautiful night in Tulsa. Good crowd. How can you go wrong with dollar beer night? It's their Thirsty Thursday. It's the last series of the year, so I think they dropped her down. It used to be $2 beers, but it was score last night, $1. So I didn't do too bad. The lovely wife drove us home, so we were all legal. It was a great night at the ballpark. The Drillers are good looking. I hadn't been there in a while, Case. They're very athletic.
Against left-hander Luke.
I remember a good looking group of guys. Eric Wedge has got them playing well, and I thought they were going to come back and win it last night. Gave up a 5-spot, top of the ninth. They come right out and got it 7-5, had a winning run at the plate. So these guys are I like the way they play the game.
Yeah, we're going to get into our Dodgers talk here in a minute, but let's go ahead and, since we brought that up, let's talk about the Drillers. They are still Wichita lost last night. Although the Drillers did lose, they still have a 1-game lead on Wichita to make the playoffs in the Texas League North. And so that's exciting and a complete turnaround. So I wanted to get your thoughts on, first of all, we'll get your thoughts on Zaire Hope, who got his first AA hit the other night. Chris Newell, who hit a just absolute tank onto Elgin Street, which is behind right field last night. Chris Newell became a 20-20 player last night, 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases. And then this young man, Luke Fox, that we've talked a lot about the great lefties in this system, starting with Justin Robleski, Jack Dreyer, as far as the young guys, and then also Jackson Ferris, Luke Fox, Wyatt Crowell, Adam Serwanowski, Maddox Bruns. You got to see one of those lefties last night, and this guy right here, Luke Fox. What do you think, Coach?
He looks the part, Casey. He very, very handles himself well. Y'all got to love those lefties. He handled it very well. Gave up. I think he got a couple runs right here, but he pitched well. He looks the part. I mean, he looks the part. Kind of looks like a young Rick Honeycutt there if you look at him.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Honeycutt was a little bit different pitcher, but big great Dodger of all time. But yeah, he's a good looking kid.
He absolutely is, and I just like the way he kind of turns the ball and just kind of moves the ball around and locates, and he really pitches, so that's kind of a lot of fun too. So, hey, this is Zaire Hope. Zaire Hope last night got his first AA hit, and it was an absolute – I got a kick out of it because Dennis Higgins, if you don't know Dennis Higgins, this is the hit right here. Dennis Higgins has been around forever. He was the Wichita announcer back when Wichita was in the AA League, when they were the Wichita Wranglers, the AA affiliates of the Royals back then, back in old Lawrence Dumont Stadium. You spent a day or two in Lawrence Dumont, haven't you, Coach?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got a case. So I say that to say he's seen so much baseball in his life. And the way that he called this was, well, that ought to do it, because there was 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and this was going to be the end of the game. Then that ball just kept carrying, and he's like, oh, that ball is going to get down. Well, I was giggling because it was obvious that Dennis had never seen Zaire Hope hit the ball, and he had never seen the carry and the type of impact that Zaire Hope puts on the ball, and he was just surprised at just how far and how much that ball carried, and just how hard he actually hit it when it looked effortless to Zaire. That's what I took out of that moment.
Yeah, it looks like you hit off the end of the bat. I mean, if you look at just from the center field camera, it looks like a routine pop up to left center. Somebody settles under it and hauls it in, but no way. I mean, look at that. Yeah, that looks like a routine pop up. I can see where he'd make the call when that was hit. And it looked like when I was watching it was hit. Yeah, it looks like an out, but kept going. Then he thought, well, that may go out of here. But yeah, it was great. It's great. He's a good-looking young player, Case. That's sky's the limit on this guy. We love him. Been in the Dodger organization. He's with great coaches, a great organization, and he'll get nothing but better. But he's got a bright future ahead of him.
He does. He swings hard, doesn't he? He does not get cheated.
He does not get cheated.
He swings a little bit too up I think he needs to flatten some things out to make the adjustments as he moves forward. But he does swing hard, and he means business. Zaire Hope has had no success so far at the AA level. That is going to come. Hey, that happens. I'm not even remotely even starting to get concerned about Zaire or about Josue DePaula, but I know you texted last night, damn, this dude looks the part too. I mean, you're very impressed with Josue DePaula.
Yes, yeah, he looks the part. Like I said, Case, from the time I seen him earlier in the year, these guys are more athletic looking. Just a more athletic team. They all look the part, and the future is very bright there. We talked earlier in the year. That Tulsa, we thought Tulsa's terrible. And they were kind of that part of the year. But,
we weren't lying.
No, we
They
were not
still
lying.
are 14 games below 500, but they're qualifying for the playoffs because they've been better in the second half.
Yeah, and we got a great organization. They know how to handle players. They know how to train players. And let's don't forget, we got a major league manager of the year in the freaking dugout over there, in Eric Wedge.
Yeah.
It's not his first rodeo. He's been around.
Isn't the
great
vibe
players.
impressive? Just the professionalism, the vibe that you're getting around it. Isn't that impressive from Eric Wedge?
Oh, yes. He just, automatic respect, whether you didn't know his background. You see that guy stand in the dugout. Hey, this guy knows what he's doing. But if you didn't even know him, but we knew him even back when he played college ball for Gene Stevenson over at Wichita State. Then he played in the big leagues. And like I said, big league manager of the year one year. So this guy, the Dodgers are so fortunate to have that type of deal. You got Henny did a great job in Tulsa, in Oklahoma City now, and now you got Eric Wedge with the AA group there in Tulsa. How fortunate is this organization?
How about John Shoemaker at the single A level with Rancho, who's a legend, and then Jair Fernandez, who's awesome too with Great Lakes.
Absolutely, I knew you knew those Class A guys, those Class A guys better than I did, but I know they're doing a great job because obviously you see the guys that are rolling into Tulsa, and eventually they're going to roll into LA and Oklahoma City, wherever they end up, wherever they go on their next stop. So I'm looking forward also, Case, kind of looking ahead. We're going to spring training next year, and I'm going to spend some time over at Camelback Ranch. I like to go over there early and watch the young guys take BP and do their infield work, catcher's work. I like to go over and watch the workouts. I know you'd be the same way if you're out there. You get to watch the workouts, and they play games at a lot of times 1 o'clock, sometimes 7. So I'm looking forward to that. That's on down the road. That's a long time from now, but March. But anyway, I'm looking forward to getting around Camelback and actually sitting there watching these guys work out and watch how the coaches are working with them, that sort of thing.
We're kind of doing this backwards. We're diving into the Tulsa game last night because that's where Coach Holt was at. So
that's right.
Let's just kind of dive into it and get that down the farm part of it out of the way right now, because that's the part that I love. It's dear to my heart because I just love watching the developmental process. And speaking of development, this is Chris Newell. I know he was like one of the first guys that we texted about last night. Like, wow, This Chris Newell dude, very talented. Now, his strikeout rate, he's still striking out way too much. That's the part of his game that holds him back. But as Chris said himself when I interviewed him, he's still in the process of learning how to take all those tools and turn them into results on the field and how to actually impact games. It doesn't matter how many tools you have. If you don't know how to use those tools to create results and impact games, it doesn't matter. He has definitely done that. He's had a really, really nice last couple of months to the season. When you see him in person, you can just feel how talented he is. So you just kind of hope as he continues to, if you smooth the edges, if you will, maybe reduce the strikeout rate to 25%. This is kind of the James Outman thing all over again. Super talented. I think he's probably a little bit more skilled offensively in terms of having a little bit flatter swing. But when I say James Outman, treasure trove of tools, a guy that swings and misses too much. So we'll see if he can smooth those edges. But I know you are very impressed with Chris Newell.
Yeah, very much so. Like I said, it's great having Eric Wedge in your dugout, a guy who can help him along that line. Like I said, Case, these guys are in AA. They're in AA for a reason. They're not seasoned. They're not at the top of their game yet. So you look at the talent level, the work. You just look at their body of work. And I know you do more of this. You do a great job of covering our guys down the farm. You've seen more of this guy than I have. But that's the great part about it. Some guys pick it up. We love James Outman. I always have loved James Outman. And never really came to fruition what we wanted for him for whatever reason. I still love the guy, but whatever, you don't know this guy finishing this season up, what he does in winter ball, what he gets in spring training next year and moving forward again with a great organization. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to have that, the negative has to teach you something. That's a
great point. The failure has to motivate you, yes.
You sit there and go, okay, dude, am I going to stay in Tulsa or in Oklahoma City, go up and down the turnpike my whole career, or do I want to go to La La Land with the boys? And, it's a case me and you've seen on the high school American Legion level. You got guys you just sit there hoping they finally reach their potential. some do and turned around, and some never do. You know, for whatever reasons. Not that they're bad kids or not or athletes. It's just some guys make that change, make those changes, those tweaks to their game, and end up at the highest level they can be. So you just hope for these young guys to get that. But like I said, the eye test and what you've seen, like you said, you keep up with these guys better than I do. Chris Newell's got a bright future, but that'll be the tell. You know, how he ends up this year. I don't know what he does in winter ball, what he does over winter. He may take off and go fishing and drink beer.
He needs to go to the Arizona Fall League and keep, because he's hot right now. He needs to continue that momentum, in my opinion.
Keep playing out there in Arizona, and like I said, you'll get training while you're doing that also. And if you start having those, you know, the negativity, like I said, failure changes us all. Failure teaches us all. So if he starts struggling, it's like, okay, well, I need to change something. You know, that worked when I was in high school and college, but it ain't working here. So you've got to do something. And probably very few guys came up. There's some that come up and they were great from the day they walked on. You know, you look at Ken Griffey Jr., those guys like that, they're in the bigs at 19. Johnny Bench, some of those guys.
Juan Soto, yeah.
Juan Soto, these guys are in the big leagues at 19, you know, and thriving, you know, from that day forward. And some guys, it takes a little bit longer to get there, but they do get there. So, you know, you're just
everybody's timetable is different. Everybody's
different. Totally great point, Case. Everybody's different. Don't put everybody into, you know, and I know our organization's great. They're not doing that. They wouldn't think of doing that. So they see what they got. I mean, I'm sitting there drinking dollar beers. Hell, I can see it. I know you can see it because you check it all the time. But these guys, our great organization definitely gets it. And they know what they got with this guy and all these other kids. So they'll do whatever it takes to get them there. And it's up to the player, though, Case. You know, like you said.
This outfield for Tulsa is stupidly loaded with talent.
Yeah.
When you talk about Zach Earhart, James Tibbs, third can play outfield. Cole Myers, you still have. They just went on the dev list. You got Damon Keith. Now you have Josue DePaula, Zaire Hope, Chris Newell. I mean, this is a stupidly talented outfield. So the cream's going to have to rise to the top. There's just no other way to put that. No,
you're absolutely correct. And it's going to be up to each individual player. This is not a news flash. Hell, nobody sure as hell didn't invent this. It's been going on for the entire history of baseball. You know, the player, what you do, you know, we always used to say, what do you do when nobody's watching? You know, it's kind of, you know, what are you doing? You know, what extra work are you putting in? Are you making yourself a better athlete? Are you doing whatever? You know, Babe Ruth, beer and hot dogs, and he hit all those home runs, but you know, there's not very many of those guys around. So, you know, what do they do on their time? What do they do to make themselves better? What are they doing pregame? You go to a Dodger, I mean, I know you got Freddie and those guys. You got those guys doing those pregame drills. It's because they're the best in the business or the best in the world at what they do, and they continually work at it. So there's a lot out there to say about these young kids, but the great part is, at Case, we used to always say they got the God-given. They've got the body, they've got the talent, or they wouldn't be where they are. Now it's kind of just, where does it go from here? And that's exciting.
It absolutely is. Okay, so let's get into our Dodgers talk. With that was fun talking about Tulsa. I know you had a really good time with your brother-in-law last night. $1 beer night at One Oak. Hey, One Oak is fabulous. I know you were at Northwest Arkansas at I can't remember the name of the field
Springdale.
There.
I'll think it.
Springdale, Arkansas. Yeah. Arvest Park. Yes, Arvest Park. And you mentioned how nice that was, but then you get back to One Oak, it's night and day, isn't it? One Oak is the nicest AA facility out there, period.
Yeah, we enjoyed our time at Arvest Park watching the Royals and the Cardinals go at it, Springfield and Northwest Arkansas. We had a good time over there. We love baseball. We love it. It was a beautiful night in Arkansas, and they had they didn't have the $1 beers, but they had the 25 ounces for $5, Case. So
I don't know which one's better.
I mean, me and my brother-in-laws, we get baseball and you get a big beer for $5. Anyway. But it was fun to watch and see some. You always like to look at the rosters.
And a designated driver. You always have
a designated driver. I've learned.
Absolutely.
I've never had a DUI in my life, and I don't want to start now. So I've got a designated driver, or I've got a Lyft account. I told my wife, hell, I'll get a Lyft. It'll be $100, but I'll get a Lyft back to the hotel if I have to.
Absolutely.
But no, that's a great ballpark. But One Oak, and it's got the skyline. If you've never been to Tulsa,
it's unbelievable.
It used to just be a bunch of warehouses down in Case. It was dark. It's kind of scary. It's like Bricktown,
just like Bricktown. And that was the most dangerous part of Tulsa, just like Bricktown was in Oklahoma City. It was like per capita, there were more murders in that area of Tulsa than there were anywhere else in the United States. It was that dangerous.
And it's beautiful now. The skyline, there's a big bank, there's apartments. And if you people that have never been to Tulsa, if you ever get there, it's very historical. The Greenwood District is right there where the Tulsa.
It's where the Black Wall Street was at. Yeah.
Black Wall Street is right around the corner. There's a museum there. It's a great thing to go visit and see the history.
Have you gone under the bridge and seen all the doors and the pictures?
Yes.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
That's awesome down there. If you go to a ball game and you got a museum right there, you got Black Wall Street right around the corner. I mean, this is Tulsa's really done a great. Oklahoma City, we know they're off the charts what they've done down there
with the
now
canal.
The Thunder's thriving. They got this $1 billion arena going up now.
Yeah.
It's great. But Tulsa's doing the same thing around that ballpark. If you're sitting in the ballpark, it's a beautiful skyline of Tulsa right there. Hotels right across the street. A lot of restaurants. Not too far from King's Ballroom. Any of you Dodger fans out there like a good country music. You
Sleep
come
at the
to
wheel, man. Ray Benson was a size 16 foot, man. They were there like last month.
I mean, you can do it all there in that part of Tulsa. Absolutely. So I'm not on the Chamber of Commerce in Tulsa, but I'm in Oklahoma like you are, Case, and they've done. And
there's a Hertz donut within walking distance. That's big right there. That's big.
That's huge.
Go get your big bear claw.
Yes, no doubt about it. So they're doing great things. Oklahoma City and Tulsa have done so much for their city around that area and using those ballparks and those events areas down there. So it's great. You people from out of state, if you're ever in the area, please go down there, get a look at it, and go to a game if you can. But it's Oklahoma is Oklahoma. It's wide open spaces, but if you go to Tulsa, Oklahoma City, you can see some big city type stuff.
Tulsa gives a big city. I know Oklahoma City is actually bigger, but Tulsa has the big city vibe to it that Oklahoma City still feels like a really small town that just is a big city because it's so spread out. So, hey, let's get into our Dodgers talk here. And I tell you what, Coach, I've been saying this for a long time. I am super optimistic. I'm super excited about the finish of this season. It's been frustrating as hell. I'm not going to take that away. I don't care. I don't even want to think one more second about any of that frustration. It's all about the fact that you just swept the Rockies, which the Dodgers have had a hard time putting away teams they were supposed to here lately. Now you're facing a red-hot Giants team. The starting pitching has been fantastic. Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani are absolutely on fire. This offense is totally healthy. So is the pitching. This is a super exciting prospect for the next month or two of baseball for this Dodgers team. I could not be more excited about today, talking about the game with Yamamoto and Verlander tonight. That's going to be just off the charts exciting. And then just the overall, I can't wait to see how this Dodgers team rounds into form in the next month.
Well, we talked about, we've been on the process Case. It's 162 games. We tried not to, we're realists when we get on here together. I know you do all the other Dodger dogs. We don't sugarcoat anything. We don't just browbeat everybody either, but we kind of just speak the way it is. And it's been a struggle for it's hard to say that it's been a struggle. We've got a 3-game lead, 2.5-game lead, whatever it is over Padres. We continue to hold that.
Because they suck. They suck.
Yes, they're terrible. They'd have a 5-game lead on us if they were any good. So that's obvious. But so, the Dodgers have had that year, I've said this many times. I always got frustrated in preseason. All my buddies come to, hey, you just buying a championship. All those millions of dollars you spent on relievers and, all these guys, all the millions. And we know, baseball people know, that doesn't mean anything. You still got to get on the field and perform. And we're seeing that with the Dodgers. Even though they've held on their lead, other people have moved in front of the Dodgers, probably won't get a buy. I personally don't give a crap. Just keep playing. If you start playing well, just keep playing. It'd be nice to have the buy. Don't get me wrong. You can heal up, blah, blah, blah. But we've seen that hadn't always been good either. It was last year. But in the big scheme of things, that hadn't been good. So you're at the point you just want to start playing well.
Yeah.
I remember Tony La Russa back in 2011. I watched him a lot. I could see a lot of their games here in Oklahoma then, Case. And, of course, Matt Holliday's playing for him. I remember him just saying, just get in the tournament. That was his quote. And they went in as a wild card and won it all. So, that's what you want to do. You want to be playing your best ball at the end of the year. Get in there. Everybody, we know there's several teams good enough to win the World Series. That's the case every year. It's who's playing the best. We know the Dodgers have probably top to bottom, the roster is probably more talented, definitely worth more money than everybody else's roster. But that doesn't mean anything.
Well, and damn sure in a 3-game wild card series, anybody can win.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. So there's no guarantees on anything. It looked kind of shaky last year in the first round. It looked like we were done against the Padres and ended up winning it all. That's what we're talking about. This team is totally capable of getting on a roll and winning the whole thing. We know that, and that's the exciting part about it.
So for the offense, Mookie Betts in his last 7 days, I should say, last 5 games, how about a 478 burger, right? He has an on-base percentage of he has a slugging percentage of 1043. So it's been the combo of, yes, getting on base and hitting the ball well and slugging for Mookie Betts. So for me, the keys to this offense, Shohei is Shohei. I think Freddie is what he is. He's going to have streaks with some power, but it's not going to be consistent slug for Freddie, but I think it's still going to be very good, consistent offense, if you will. So it's going to come down to, can Mookie Betts continue to hit? He's not going to continue to hit like he has in the last 5 games or even the last 10 games, but he continue to be a very good offensive player. And then between Will Smith, Max Muncy, and Teo, can they be the middle of the lineup? When I say middle of the lineup, the definition of what the middle of the lineup can be. So and then can Tommy Edman be somewhat close to what Tommy Edman was last year and at the beginning of this year, and not what he was at the middle of this year? And then can Andy Pages continue just to be, a guy that, matter of fact, he's been very good over the last couple of weeks. He's hitting over 300. But I think the keys are, can you find a middle of the lineup that's consistently a middle of the lineup, and can Mookie Betts continue to hit the way he has? If that happens, the bottom of the lineup is what it is.
I think that you're absolutely spot on there, Case. I know somebody nationally said the same thing. Well, we already knew the bullpen struggles and the offensive struggles, hit and miss, are the big things you worry about going into postseason with the Dodgers. You just hit it on the head there. Our middle, we know what we got at the top of the order. With Mookie coming around, Freddie's really never dropped off the face of the earth. Freddie's always going to be, like you said, Freddie's Freddie, and Shohei's a freak of nature, one of the greatest players to ever walk. So we know what we got there. But you're right, the middle of the line, of course, you want the bottom lineup like they did last year with Tommy and those guys. They did a great job at the bottom. That was a big key for the Dodgers winning it all.
That's the Tommy Edman factor. Can he be like that guy that can score you 1 or 2 runs a game at the bottom lineup, whether it be hit a home run or get on, get over, get in?
Yeah, he's the MVP. Was it last year? The World Series, whatever it was. But so that shows you what you got there. But you're right. The middle of that order, that's the big part. 4, 5, and 6. Those are big. Those have to be big hitters for you. We know Max has had his moments. Teoscar really hadn't come around to be what he can be. He's still got 22 home, 24. What the hell he is? I mean, he's still got a few home runs. But we're still kind of waiting on to see what we want to get what we get out of him. He's never been a 300 hitter, blah, 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 but you get 25 homers and that sort of thing at him. So you want him to be what he is.
24 home runs, yeah.
Yeah, 24
Well, he
homers.
has to be what he has been both on and off the field. Like Mookie said, that smile, the contagious positive energy, that is equally as important as him hitting home runs. I think even the veterans in the dugout have acknowledged that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So we need him to be what Teoscar brought to us last year.
Yes.
He's got the home runs are about the same that it was last year, but there's a lot of things that go into it. We know Will.
He has not been as good of a player, near as good of a player this year as
not
he was
as good
last year.
Defensively or offensively. You're absolutely correct.
My opinion.
And me too. I mean, I'd agree
or
with
near
you.
the positive effect that he had.
He'd probably agree with you too. I mean, if you, I don't know the guy, but if you talk to him, he's a major league player. He gets
4 games. So Ben Rortvedt, great defense. He's putting the right fingers down. Tyler Glasnow gave him a lot of praise the other day, but he's actually hitting the ball 364 in his last 11 at bats of the last 4 games. And he has a OPS of 826 in that time. So Ben Rortvedt, he's been kind of the MVP of this last 4 or 5 days, because when Will went down, when Dalton went down, it was like, oh, snap, man, what do we do now? And then here comes Ben Rortvedt, the ultimate next man up scenario.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And we've talked about this in previous years, even last year. There's always those surprises, good and bad.
Has to be if you're going to be a championship team.
If you're going to be a championship, somebody has to go above and beyond like he's doing. And, somebody you wasn't expecting. This guy wasn't even expected to be in the big leagues.
Last year, I think it was Tommy Edman.
Yeah, it's Tommy.
I mean, we expect him to be okay or good or what, but hell,
Sure.
you remember he hadn't even taken a major league at bat all year. I mean, his only at bats where he had like 12 double-A at bats when the Dodgers got him. Nobody could have expected what Tommy Edman did. I think he was that guy last year.
Yeah, we know Kike. We know what he is in the playoffs. So that's another.
We hope this year. Yeah.
We hope he can be.
He's not been doing very good this year so far, which he never does in the regular season.
Historically, he hasn't been great in the regular season, but he's been nails in the postseason. So you're still banking on some of that stuff, but you'll have those surprises, good and bad. And this is a great, not a good surprise, but a great surprise. This kid's not only in there and play well defensive, but he's hitting the baseball. And we talked about it last year. At one point, Gavin Lux is our best player. He's hitting freaking 3-hole for us last year when we had some injury problems and stuff.
That was a surprise, yeah.
Yes, that was a surprise because, they were talking about getting rid of the guy at one point.
Right, absolutely.
And good thing for Gavin, one of my favorites for sure. He's doing well.
He likes you, Coach.
Yeah, I like him.
He's a fan of you.
I'm glad. I'm a big fan of his and hope he does well. He's still doing well with the Reds, so that's good for him. But you're going to have those things. And like you said it best, you have to have those things if you're going to be a championship team. It isn't all going to look good.
Because you're going to have to win games on the margins, and those are the guys that win the games on the margins for you.
Yeah, it's like throwing out, okay, hey, by the way, we're down 2-1 at San Diego. We're going to do a damn bullpen game. Are you nuts? What the hell's wrong with you? And you throw a 2-hitter, next thing you know, you're rolling to win the World Series.
I mean, I would love it.
It's going to happen.
I would love it if the Dodgers hit 6 home runs a game all the way through the playoffs or for every game here on out and score 10 runs by just slugging the ball and hitting the ball out of the ballpark every single night they showed up. That's not going to happen. So literally what's going to determine – I mean, if you can do that, great, but the Dodgers have shown that they haven't been able to do that, and almost no team can. So we would prefer that version of the Dodgers where they're hitting 5 or 6 home runs a game and just slaughtering people. But logic would tell you this is the game of baseball. You're going to see the other team's best arms as the season winds down, especially in a playoff scenario. So that's not going to happen. So there's going to be 3, 4, maybe 5 games in the playoffs to where you don't get that slug, and then whether you can win those games or not literally is going to determine whether you continue advancing or not. So the Kike Hernandezes, the Ben Rortvets, the Tommy Edmans, a lot of times they are the difference to whether whether you continue to advance or not. So it's the Dodgers need to continue to build this offense. And I'll tell you another thing. I mentioned this the other day. You've had a lot of experience with this. The senior over the freshman. I want the best player. The country club's got to go by the wayside. It has to be a meritocracy. If Ben Rortvedt is better than Dalton Rushing, then Ben Rortvedt is the backup catcher for the rest of the year. And I don't care, if Dalton Rushing is the number one prospect as much as I love him. If Andy Pages is better than Teo Hernandez in right field, Andy Pages goes to right field. So from this point on, it has to be all about results. It can't be a country club. It has to be about who is the better player at this point in time. If Jack Dreyer is better than Tanner Scott, then Jack Dreyer needs to be pitching. That kind of deal.
No, there's no doubt about it, Case. I've done it several times, even as a head high school basketball coach and a Legion coach and a high school baseball coach. You have a kid that's gone for whatever, either injury or blah, blah, blah. Usually kids aren't going to lose their position over injury. That was kind of my rule and kept it that way. But sometimes you had guys in the summertime, they go to all-star games. And so somebody had to take their place. I'd always tell them, if he's doing well, I don't know that you're going, I can't guarantee you're going to get back in there because I'm sure as hell not taking a kid out who's doing well, or you find another place for him because they've earned that right to play. So, yeah, we've all been in those situations. And Dave has shown that he's not scared to make those moves, especially now the way this season's gone and the struggles the Dodgers have been under, even though they've only, they've been in first place most of the dadgum year. There's still some struggles there that he deals with every day, wakes up, if he sleeps at all, some of those days he wakes up that way. So, yeah, you got to make those decisions based on, current. What's going on right now? You get a guy coming up, minor leagues, Rortvedt comes in, he's playing great back there. You get Edman back. If Kike's Kike in the playoffs, those guys got to play. I mean, and they'll do that. They have shown that they will do that. But you're absolutely correct. You got to go with what's the best. The country club. It's a well put. The country club is gone here. The best players are on the field. There'll be no favorites being played. Guys earned everything now because is the Dodgers, and like every team in professional sports are, they're winning it all or they're bust. But it's definitely true with LA Dodgers, the New York Yankees, and that sort of thing. If they don't win it all, it's a brutal season. So, that's just kind of the way it is. And, the Cardinals have some of that too in St. Louis. I know there's some grumblings going on there. They haven't been good in a while. So, but they have the World Championships to back it up too, like the Dodgers. And of course, the Yankees have way more than anybody, but the Dodgers and the Cardinals are right behind them as far as the number of World Series titles. So, that's something we know the Dodgers will do that. We know Dave will pull the right strings. That's the thing about it. We said, going back to what we said a minute ago, it doesn't guarantee anything though. He can go with the best. I know they get all the analytics, but at some point he's going to put his hands on Blake Treining's chest and go, "You're the guy. Stay the hell in here." He's going to go on feel. He's going to go off instinct and all the years of experience as a player and a manager. He's going to go off feel. He's going to go off what he sees with his own eyes. He don't need a damn piece of paper helping him.
There is a time of the season where you have to do that because the analytics are more for the big picture. But, hey, Coach, we have Yamamoto this weekend, and then Saturday you have Kershaw, and then Sunday you have Glasnow. Verlander for the Giants tonight. They have not listed their Saturday, Sunday starters. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Just great series. Historically, Dodgers, Giants, beautiful ballpark in San Francisco. I'm a Dodger fan, but I'd love to go to that ballpark. I don't want to go there when the Dodgers are there, though, because I probably, I don't know, whatever. I just don't want to do that. But I'd love to go to a game there at the Giants Park just as an interested observer who loves baseball. And they say it's a beautiful setting there. So, you got that. The Giants are playing well. The Dodgers are playing, if you look at the 4-game winning streak, so they're also playing better. I don't care that it's against the Rockies. Everybody's got that damn opinion of that. It's still Major League Baseball. You still got to do it because everybody else plays the damn Rockies too. Are all of you sweeping them? Well, it's kind of close. 106 losses, whatever the hell they got. I guess it's pretty close. But anyway, I'm looking forward to a great series. The Dodgers, are still battling. It's kind of like last year. I like the fact that it's a battle all the way to the end. It's easy for me to say because I'm not Dave Roberts trying to sleep at night and figuring out what the hell's going on every day. I've been there.
I think having to play every day is going to help this team.
And like I said, I don't even care if they don't get the bye. So what? I mean, we've seen it work the other way. Before last year, it was like,
I don't like the 3-game aspect of things with a really good team. I don't want to play the Mets in a 3-game series. I'm a little different on that. I don't want to play the Padres, the Mets, or somebody like that in a 3-game series, man. I'm wanting the bye. The Dodgers aren't going to get it. I don't think they're going to. So, I mean, it's kind of spilled milk. I don't think they're going to catch the Phillies. But, man, that 3-game series, I just – that's not baseball to me. Baseball is not a 3-game series. No. I guess these series in the regular season are, so I shouldn't say that. But playoff baseball to me is minimum of 5 before you get into the best team winning.
But the regular season didn't do or die. This is do or die case. I totally agree with you. 5 at the minimum on these series. But, they don't listen to us. If they did, they'd have 5-game series. But everything. But, no, you're right, especially now with the Mets pitching well. You got our boy up there, OSU guy. Is he still 4-0? Hell, I hadn't kept up with him.
He's liable to be their number 1 starter. You're talking about Nolan McLean.
Nolan McLean, yeah. Came out there when
he was a position player mostly at OSU, and he just kind of dabbled a little bit into pitching. But, man, he has really taken off.
Got the arm, man. He's dirty and he's confident. And the team's confident in him. He's dealing for him. That's hell. I sure as hell don't want to see him.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want any part of that 3-game series, man. But it looks like that's going to happen. If it happens, it happens. You just gotta figure out a way to win it.
That's right. And the Dodgers did that last year. They didn't have to go through that, but they had to do what they dealt with the Padres. It came down to. Hey, you guys are done, looks like, and you weren't. So, if you're going to earn something, we know it's tough. Hell, nobody needs to tell them that. There's nothing going to be easy from this point. Hadn't been easy all year.
Good.
It sure as hell ain't going to get easy now.
I don't want it to be easy.
It won't be.
It'd be boring if it was easy, for one. And two, I think this team would rest on its laurels if it was.
Everybody thought it was going to be easy with all the money. That's what I was hearing. Hell, you go ahead and give them the trophy. The old Dennis Green.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it would be a lot easier than it has been. I did not think this team would have as low of a floor as it has had this year.
There's no doubt about it. We spent all those millions of dollars on the bullpen and, with Tanner Scott, and Trinan's battled some injuries, and all the money the Dodgers have spent because they have it, first of all, but mainly because they want to win. They're trying to win the World Series every damn year. We're not, it's not a 5-year plan. There's no such thing in professional sports,
Not with the Dodgers.
Hell no, there's not the Dodgers. You got a 5-hour plan if you're lucky. Aaron Boone up in New York's the same way. You got maybe a 5-minute plan sometimes too if it goes to hell.
He manages like it too. He loses his mind all the time. It's kind of funny.
He does. Yeah, I still like the one where he got tossed out. He didn't say a damn word.
Yeah, he didn't.
He's like, video.
Yeah,
he's like,
awesome.
He's looking at his nails and gets thrown out. The guy in the stands behind him starts running his day. Anyway,
that's the old. Hey, I came home one day and I said, Dad, I didn't do this, and he goes, okay, well, I'm not disagreeing with you, but there's a reason why they thought you did, and that's probably because you've been doing this for like a long time now, and so you were the one that they accused because they're sick of you doing this. So even if you didn't do it at this point, you're probably getting payback for all the other crap you've been doing, right?
Waylon Holt said the same thing to me. Waylon and Gladys Holt said the same thing to my ass case.
Yeah.
Well, if you got by that, if you didn't do this, and there's probably somewhere back in your history that you got away with it. Same thing Terry and Beverly said to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, hey, man, this has been awesome. Thanks for joining. I love you.
Love you too, man. Tell everybody at Guthrie High School hello, and give my love to the Porter family, and give our love to all of our Dodger dogs, man. You guys are the best. Let's go win a series in San Francisco. Go Dodgers.
Mark Watkins was at the Rancho game last night, so we will have all that coverage on next time that I have him on. That they did end their season last night. They went 0-2 in the playoffs. Inland Empire beat them. And then Oklahoma City, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about last night. So that's going to end today's show. You wonderful Dodgers dogs, thanks for tuning in. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.